Hi there. My name is Jessica Crow. I'm the founder of Apogee, which is a change management training and consulting firm. And this is Change Leader Insights. It's our podcast where I get the privilege of interviewing people who are experts in leading change, influencing change, who are new to their change management careers or have acquired the skills to support them in their current roles. And today I have here with me April and Will Jackson, and I'm so glad they're here. They went through Apogee's training and certification program together, which is so great. What a neat opportunity to do some learning as a team. And I was coaching April and also got to spend some time with Will, which was a lot of fun. So thank you both for being here today. Do you mind just giving a little bit about like little brief bio, what you currently do, where you work if you're able, how long you've been practicing change management or project management, or just a little bit about yourselves.
Hi, my name's Will Jackson. I work at Boecore as a director of contracts. April and I took the PMP program together, and we recognized that we probably see a lot of things changing. So we decided to do the certification for change management through Apogee. And I've been with, I guess, doing changes. It feels like all our lives, but
Yeah.
trying to get some tools to understand has been very helpful.
Good.
Yeah. Hi, I'm April Jackson, and I work at Dynetics, which is a defense contractor. We support an Army sustainment program, which is headquartered out at Fort Carson in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I am retired from the Air Force, and Will is also retired from the Air Force. And I was core marketing for my whole career. And then in 2021 shifted. I've always done projects, but shifted to more of a core project management focus. And Will and I are always about learning. We got our PMP in 2021. And then this year, we just thought we need more skills. We need to get more skills in our toolbox, and change is a huge part of projects. So this program fit our needs. And although we've done change a lot throughout our careers, we wanted a more formal approach. And a lot of the programs out there don't give you foundational information. That's what we were looking for, and Apogee definitely fits the bill, for building a foundation, to give you basics. If you think you might, about change, you probably need more. Even though you've worked with change, for a long time, this is great for foundational information.
I'm so glad. Well, I will say it's been so much fun working with both of you because you two have growth mindset. Like when I think of growth mindset, that is both of you getting your PMP, then getting change management training. I mean, you're just learning and growing and becoming more effective as a professional and a person as well. So I'm so glad that Apogee was a fit for you. And I'm so glad that you decided, you and I talked a lot about project management and the training, and how there's a sort of a lack of that training within that practice. And it is a very valuable knowledge base, a foundational knowledge base to have. What were some of the biggest surprises as you were going through the training process, learning about change for both of you, thinking about it in the context of how you work and the types of work you're doing, and then what you were learning? Were there any surprising sort of moments where a light bulb went off, or you thought, gosh, I hadn't thought about it that way, and now I sort of see this differently?
I'd say for me, I mean, what really stood out for me, the one in particular, the line, "Don't let your great get in the way of your good."
Mhm.
When you're dealing with a lot of change, perfection needs to go out the window.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot in the program about resilience.
Mhm.
And I think to be more resilient when you're going through change, throw out perfection and
Mhm.
get the work done, but don't be so hung up and stuck on this has got to be perfect. Because
Mhm.
when you're in an environment with a lot of change, you have to keep moving forward, and trying
Mhm.
to make everything perfect is not going to work. And it's okay to make mistakes along the way, you know,
Yeah.
and that's part of change. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
and the other big takeaway for me was that, we talked about this is not a linear process.
Right.
You're going
Yep.
to be all over the map when you're dealing with change. And although projects are somewhat linear in the way they're set up, within the project,
Mhm.
you're going to experience change, and it's not going to be linear. It's going to be an all over the place process, and you're going to have to adjust and see where people are, where you are, and
Yep.
follow, use the tools that Apogee did provide us, to analyze, and you may have to go back one step forward, 10 steps back. And that's just how it is.
That was actually, I remember that was a fun conversation to have with you, being trained as project managers and having that thinking of the schedule and the budget and how you move forward. You're like, well, when do you use this? And I was like, whenever it makes sense, So, I mean, there's a process you follow, but pulling from that toolkit is really what it's all about. And I love that you had that, that moment. What about you, Will? What were some of the big surprises or aha moments as you were thinking about, learning about change management and applying it to the work that you do in your role?
I go back to some of the stuff like the total quality management, TQM, and
Yeah.
the leadership or management books and training you have. And I've always been taught, you go, and I'm probably goofed it up laterally to your counterparts, and so you could go up vertically to your boss. But
Uh-huh.
I think by understanding the process and get a good overview and understanding of it, in the past, you just always just work through it with, I'm gonna say, blinders on.
Right.
And now this kind of gives you more insight to how this process works. And, like the art, they make sure people are aware. And
Yep.
then, people skip some steps and they like training, or, are they ready or not, or, the training. And so this
Yeah.
just gives you a format to understand. In the past, you just coordinate amongst each other, then just hopefully we all get there at the same time, if you will,
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
understanding the whole process, and then also taking care of people. Some
Yeah.
people feel left out and then just get discouraged. So I think that by getting showing it and then talking about it and, learning about it, I think it helped. And it's helped me even currently trying to get, different things coordinated through the company and getting it approved. It's been very enlightening, if you will. It's
Yeah.
not like I hit my head against a wall sometimes, but it seems to be a little easier that I'm trying some of the tools I've learned and go, hey, this is working better than I thought. Hey, nice. So that's
Yeah.
what's been very helpful, and I'm glad too.
Well, it was, again, it was having kind of been alongside both of you as you were going through the training and practicing using what you were learning. It was fun to hear your stories about how you'd approach something differently. You're like, they needed to be, and we don't normally do this. We skipped a step here, and then you'd go back and you'd implement awareness, or you'd have different types of conversations, and you got some real wins out of your change in approach based on the conversations we'd had, in terms of getting your ideas supported and getting things that you were asking for approved. So that was really fun to see that sort of unfold in real time, which was really, really great. What about your knowledge base, understanding change management? Where do you see yourself taking your skills next? Do you see yourself continuing to grow in this area? Are you going to try anything new at work that you haven't tried yet? I mean, what is something you're looking forward to?
I think for right now, incorporating what I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
And, as I mentioned to you, starting up a tracker
Yeah.
for my, setting maintenance teams out. For me, process improvement, those are my two probably favorite words in recent
Yeah.
years. And always looking for ways to change things up that have been the way they are for
Mhm.
years.
That
Uh,
status quo. Yeah.
yes, and I, in my work environment, I do have that ability. They do empower me to make changes where I see they could be needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about trying the tools, the information that I have, and I feel more confident. That's a big part, after going through the program. I feel a
Mm-hmm.
lot more confident in going forward with
Yeah.
suggesting different ways to change that could help our organization. And then also not only organizationally, but on an individual level.
Yeah.
Feeling like it's okay if, if the change isn't accepted, with a program that I suggested, I'm not going to beat my head against the wall. I'm going to move on and then maybe go back to it. And,
Yeah.
just have a fresh perspective. And as you mentioned, assume the best.
Yeah. Yep.
That the intentions are good and from others, that you're working with. And then just continue to look for ways to incorporate change, even small change, personally and professionally.
Yeah. Oh, that's really that. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's a great way. Hearing how you're thinking about moving forward with what you've learned and how you've developed. One of the big things that's in the training too that I've seen you embody is that leadership, and that starts with being a good leader of yourself, and the things that you were doing to sort of recalibrate how you thought and approached the work was really, really impressive in that short amount of time. What about you, Will? Is there anything that you're thinking about building on or trying out that you haven't done yet as it relates to your approach to leading and influencing change?
Yes, I'm trying to bring the team in more in kind of a mentoring, a coaching, if you will, with
Yeah.
the team, so they get a better understanding of, because they see how the change is happening too. They've not gone through the training. I call like me in the past, the blinders on. I still probably have blinders, but
Yeah.
not as bad. And try to get them to see what I'm trying to do, and then get buy-in. And so because a lot of times they don't understand, and so if I explain it to them and use the change management tools and resource and explain it to them, I get better buy-in than like we were talking earlier. We plant the seed, and
Yeah.
keep watering it and a little fertilizer, and all of a sudden it's amazing how people, and I've been using it, and people buy in, and the next thing you know, they want to do it. They're hungry to make that change,
Right.
and it spreads. So I'm enjoying doing that right now. With our company acquiring 3 other companies, we're moving, trying to incorporate
So
all their
much going
policy
on.
procedures and
Yeah.
take on their contracts, and it's get all their documentation. So trying to keep a positive attitude, make sure
You mentioned about the um, telling people go forward with your meetings, right?
Yeah,
I thought that was a pretty good change that he just mentioned that he did with his.
I'm not much on micromanaging. I don't need
Yeah.
them to, if they need my help, let me know. And I said, I trust you with what you have. We talked about it. If you got any questions, need me there, let me be there. I'll be there for you, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's been very insightful. Then even some of the stuff that's futuristic, I start planting the seeds now.
Yes.
And that way, by the time it goes there, everyone's aware.
Yep.
And then by the time we're going to implement it, they're ready. And then
Yeah.
it's to the point over the time for, it's kind of gradual training, if you will.
Yeah.
And their behavior, they're more acceptable with it. And of course, there's going to be some that knee-jerk reaction we're going to have to do quicker, then I have to readjust. But it's been very helpful to use the training we had, the tools, and apply it, if you will. And I kind of like to lean more to change management and get away from contracts, if you will. But right now, I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're so good with working with people. I mean, both of you are. I think that's something I've noticed, having, had a chance to talk with you weekly. I love that you took that coach and empower stance with your team. And the one thing, I mean, you've realized this through what you just said, it takes time for people to really process the change, the idea of change, the need for change,
Yes.
How they feel about what's changing. And even if they aren't super excited, if you give them that space, if you plant those seeds, if you don't let, great get in the way of good, all of these things that we've talked about, then by the time you get to that point of like, hey, we're going to do this, you've sort of co-created that experience of getting ready for the change, and then you can implement the training and then have greater success than not doing those things. And with all the clients that I've worked with, the individuals that I've worked with, I think the biggest takeaway is that we organizations, leaders, ourselves, we don't think about or give enough time for that individual change journey and process. It's like, hey, we're doing this, everybody get ready. And there's a little space that's required. We need to give people an opportunity to really wrap their heads around it, mourn the loss of what was as they make ready for the new, what were some of the biggest, before you went through the training, did you have any thoughts about what change management, learning about change management would be, but then you're like, wait, that's not what I thought it was going to be, or anything like that come up for you?
I'd say it's more of a methodical process than maybe I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily recognize, all the steps and what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not being, it's not linear. Your organization may be in the middle of a change, so, you can cherry pick the tools. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be one, you have to follow every rule or every template or every tool.
Yeah.
So I guess it was surprising how much is truly involved, how much of a thought process there is,
Mm-hmm.
to get to where you need to go. And it's never ending. It's
Yeah.
like it
For
keeps
better or
going.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps
Yeah.
going, and you just gotta go with the flow,
Mm-hmm.
and not take everything to heart,
Yeah.
because yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it may not look like what you expected at the end, but it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great kind of insight and aha moment and lesson for others. What about you, Will?
You know, it's, I've been thinking about this is, we've changed, I don't say the military background, hey, we're going to go here and do this kind of thing, or
Mhm.
you don't know really the rationale why. So, I've been out like going on 13 years now. And so now, what I call industry side, I don't say it's the same, but it's not like when you have a merger acquisition. I mean, since I've been out, the first company I was in, my first day, they said, hey, we're announcing the name change. Yeah, and
Perfect.
so well, I missed that in the news, and then after that, soon, within a couple of years later, they were spun us off to a different company, and,
Mhm.
we got bought out. So we didn't, spun us off to a new company, bought us, it got bought out, and spun us off to a new company, and still doing the same job, and really didn't understand the rationale. So there's a lot of change
Mhm.
that never really flowed down to our level.
Right.
And so now, going through the training here is like, wow, I always wondered, did they even go through this process?
Right.
Because at the end I was at, it just, hey, it's happening.
Right. And that
But,
didn't feel
I show
great.
up,
Yeah.
hey, today we went from, at that time ITT to Excelis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So it still reminds me of the service, the military, but going through this process, and then hey, there is some logic behind it. And like, we were talking about, you don't have to follow it precisely. Like we used to say, read a step, do a step, like eat a banana kind of thing. You can
Yeah.
move around and get things done.
Yeah.
There's a time to do that in the operational world, but if you got the flexibility, use a tool at the time. And if it doesn't
Yeah.
work, try another one.
Mhm.
Right.
And even so, the what I call the human side, work with people, the behavioral science. And I just had a situation this last week, I think it was, and employee made a mistake, sent something to
Mhm.
the wrong people. I said, well, let's take a step back. You knew better. You made a mistake. You corrected it the best you could and move on. I said, by the way, welcome to the team. I've done the same thing. So,
Yes, that compassion. That's great. Well, I love that.
so it's nice to go through this process. Before I don't say I was muddling through, but I was getting to change the work, but
Yeah.
as people told me. make it
Right.
work.
I mean, your story, that's a great story, because I feel like many people that are watching this are going to be able to relate. The change still happened, but your experience with it may have been better, more positive, more exciting if the people that were in charge of making those decisions had brought you along for the process that they were going through, helped you understand the rationale, the reasons, all of those things. It would have felt differently. And that's a big part of what we do as leaders of change is connect with people, build those relationships, have that compassion. And, so taking that from that to bringing somebody on board and saying, welcome to the team. I've done that too. I mean, that is the type of environment that I want to work in. And so, it would be wonderful if everybody had this knowledge, because then maybe we'd all interact in the workplace a little bit differently. We'd have a little bit more mindfulness when we're making a decision or rolling something out. So I'm so glad that you both got trained, that I got to work with you. What advice would you give to somebody who is interested in learning about change management, but they're not totally sure if it's going to be useful in their job, or they're just nervous about it? Or what led you to, again, you two have the biggest growth mindsets ever. So that's, it might be hard for you to answer, but what advice would you give to someone who's sort of thinking about learning about change management?
I'd say whatever career field you're in, there's change
Mm-hmm.
in every single career field. So I think that it could only help. I know for me, this program also helped me not only with the job, but also with, I'm very active in the project management community.
That's
and
right.
My project management local chapter. And developing the work-life balance was a big topic that you and I talked about, Jess. And learning how to tweak and change things in that environment as a leader. This program was really important to me for that. And it's really helped in a big way, because I've learned how to delegate more and how to work as a team. Not that I didn't delegate before, but what could I do? What could I change to make things better, more efficient, and make my own work-life balance better? So whether you're seeking, information for your job or on a personal level, there's change everywhere. And I'd say that the program helps personally and professionally.
Oh, that's great.
Where I am.
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad. Thank you, April. Yes, you did. Both of you made some big changes during the program that had, actually, they were maybe not necessarily big. For some of them they were, but some of them were small, but they had a big impact on you. And I really loved seeing that happen for both of you. Do you have any advice for people, Will, and who are thinking about getting trained in change management or learning more about the practice?
Yeah, I just remember saying years ago when I was going through I was my business management background, my education, and they always say don't do change for the sake of change. And I always thought that meant we're not really going to do a whole lot of change, but I will say change. I mean, even your computer technology, your phone, as soon as you get it, you only got a couple of months, it's outdated. It feels like
right.
It's everywhere. And if you don't understand it, instead of, like I said, earlier, blinders on, and to me, it's better just expose yourself to the philosophy, the mythology, what's going on here, and then the training, and then use the tools. Some of it might work, and at least improves yourself. And you'd be surprised, like you were saying, we tried it as we were going through the training, and hey, this is really working.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be afraid. Because if you don't, you're going to be the same as we were before. Just change is happening, but what can I do to get ahead of it?
Yeah.
And use those.
Yes, you empowered yourself. Empowered people power business change. That's what I like to say. And personal change.
Yes.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I am so excited to share this conversation. I loved talking to you both. It's great to see you both. And I'm so glad that learning about change management has had such a big impact on your life, and, personally and professionally. I am a big believer that learning about this practice and being able to apply the tools in many different areas can be really a transformative personal experience. And so thank you for sharing your story and hopefully inspiring people to continue to learn about this area, whether it's through Apogee or another forum. I just strongly encourage people to take that time, because it can really help you think differently about why you're doing things, and maybe think differently in case there's an opportunity for growth or improvement. So both of you are on LinkedIn. I know, April, you're a little bit more active than Will, but if people wanted to connect with you and ask questions, can they look for you there?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank
Mhm.
you so much for your time. And yeah, thanks for sharing your story with Apogee's community, with the Change Leader Insights community, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Jess.
Thanks,
Thank
Jess.
you. Good to see